Japan.
Hi everyone, it's Shelly and welcome back to my channel. For this video, I'm going to be talking about my itinerary for when I went on the cruise from Rome going to Greece and all the stops that we did and the excursions that we had chosen for the trip. I find it interesting to know what people have chosen for their cruise excursions, especially because they're already paying so much for the cruise, and to build up on these excursions that could be on the pricier side, it's really hard for you to choose which one is good for you. The cruise that we went on was by the Royal Caribbean, and it was a 7-day cruise with a cruise ship that was Jewel of the Seas. And the route of this cruise was ported from Rome going to Greece, which is quite a ways. There is a lot of days at seas at first, and then you get to the meat of the trip, which is going to 4 different locations in Greece. You go to Santorini, then to Mykonos, go to Athens, and then to Katakolo to end off the trip. For the time that we were in Santorini, this was the only place that we had booked a excursion. The purpose of this cruise was actually because of my little sister. It was her 18th birthday, and in Filipino tradition, 18th birthdays are the coming of womanhood type of birthday, and so she chose to do a cruise instead of doing a big Filipino party. Santorini was her choice of where she wanted to do her photographs and all that stuff, and so we wanted to make sure that we optimize our time accordingly based on the fact that we needed to take photos on this trip. For Santorini, it was the only spot that we booked an excursion, and I believe the one that we chose was Explore Ia, which in Santorini what we did was that we went to the side that was Ia, which is known for the infamous sceneries. You'll see the blue domed churches, and the thing about Santorini is that it's on top of a hill, so all of the buildings are just kind of swooped downwards. The Explore to Ia excursion was a round trip ticket that you can take to go to Ia, and then going back to Thera, which is where the cruise is ported at. And the ride there was about like 40 minutes to an hour, so since we only had 8 hours, we had that trip there. You were able to explore Ia for 90 minutes, and then it was another 40 to an hour minute ride back to Thera. So it already took like 4 hours of our time, which was half the time that we were in Santorini for. The benefit of you taking this excursion was that we were actually the first boat to have ported off of the cruise. So you would take this like boat from the cruise to the port. So since it was an excursion that was booked through the cruise line, you had first dibs of getting off the boat and then starting your day. Some tips while you're in Ia on the side: if you choose to take the excursion, the tour guide would then bring you up to this one church, and it was kind of like the meeting point of you to go. You have the choice of either going to the left side or to the right side, and if you're in for the photos, I would suggest to go to the right side. Both sides have vendors and restaurants and all that stuff, but on the right side there is this one spot that people like to take a lot of pictures at. It's like this one corner where people actually line up just to take pictures at this corner, because that's where you'll get like the full view of the white houses going down and also the big blue dome. If you're in for the photos, take the right turn first, and then you can then explore the left side. And then we went back to the bus, and it then drove us back to Thera, which the tour guide also provides a cable car ticket for you to go back down to the port. So that is also included in your excursion ticket. Yeah, so at this point we were actually pretty tired already. I don't know why. I think it was the heat that makes you a little bit more tired and drowsy throughout the day. So what we did was, I think we ate a little bit at Thera, but then we went directly to the cable car. The one thing that we were a little bit concerned about was lining up for the cable car. So there was like a lineup from the cable car entrance down like probably 5 blocks down, and we thought that it was going to take quite a while to get back down, so we decided to go in the lineup right away when we got to Thera. But it actually went by faster than we thought that it would. I think it was like 20 minutes in the line, and we had ordered food and we were waiting for the food, and we were already at the front of the line by the time the food was done. And so I would suggest like you still have probably a good 2 hours in Thera if you wanted to explore around after the excursion, and then going back down. The one caveat to that is that if a lot of people do stretch out that time that they're in Santorini for, a lot of people will be in line, like people from your cruise will be in line to go down to the cable car, which might extend the time that you're in the line for. The next stop was to Mykonos, which was probably my favorite stop there. Despite it being really windy, in comparison to Santorini, it's on the like bottom portion of the island, and so closer to shoreside. There's a lot of restaurants by the shoreside, so you'll see like the waves kind of hitting the barriers, and it's just like a really nice scenic place to be in. Also, the corridors that you can go into, there's a lot of blue doors, white walls. Oftentimes there's like flowers and all that stuff that are hanging from the walls, and so it's a good photo op in that sense. Another location that is good to take pictures at, they have these like famous windmills that you can go up to, and then it also overlooks to the ocean as well, so that was pretty cool as well. The next stop, it was Athens, and Athens is quite different to Santorini and Mykonos because it's a city, and so they have a lot of those hop on, hop off bus options there. And the one thing that we were able to do was that there was a vendor for the gray line, which is the yellow bus hop on, hop off option in the cruise itself before we had gotten off the boat, and he gave us a deal to get the hop on, hop off ticket per person, and also included the admissions ticket for Acropolis and Pantheon. Just to get the admissions ticket itself would take a good 30 minutes to an hour wait before you can actually get into the site. So this kind of shaved off some time. Since we arrived pretty early to Athens, we were one of the first few people up at the site because we already had a ticket, which was really good. So yeah, a few stops that you can go to is obviously Acropolis and Pantheon. We probably spent the most time there just taking photos, taking videos, and all that stuff. The next one that we went to was the Monument of the Unknown Soldier, which it's kind of like how in London where guards do kind of like a dance or something in front of this building, and so we saw that. This place is also right next to this one square where fountains, there's vendors for like fruits and fresh produce, and also it's right next to a mall where there's restaurants and shops and vendors and all that stuff too. So if you would want to get off of the stop just to see the Monument of Soldiers and then take a bite to eat within the town or the square that it's close by to, probably like a 5-minute walk in between. The one thing that I would say about Athens is that it's a little bit more sketchy in comparison to Mykonos and Santorini because there's a lot of homeless people. A few of the vendors are obviously looking for money and all that stuff, and so me and my little sister actually got approached by this one guy who was giving out free bracelets, like friendship bracelets, and so he gave us these bracelets and ended up wanting to have money from us because we took the bracelets, and kind of cornered us into like this one gated wall, and it was pretty interesting. My dad had came around, and my cousin also, and he then had asked, oh, if you don't have change, does your family or your friends have change to like help you and all this stuff? And it was kind of sketch at that point, so we ended up giving back the the bracelets and just kind of going on our way because that was kind of interesting. And then the last stop on our cruise line was the Katakolo, which from what we heard was Katakolo was not as touristy as other locations that were on our itinerary. The one monument that you could go to, or the location that you can go to, is Olympia. We just decided not to, and what we had done was there's always taxis along the port once you get off, and so we had asked one of the taxis to suggest the best beach that we could go to. Katakolo is known for the beaches and all that stuff, so we thought it was a good time just to relax since it was our last stop. He gave us two options. There was one beach that was 10 minutes away, and then there was another beach that was 15 to 20 minutes away, and he said that both were good choices, and so based on that, I think that we chose the one that was 15 to 20 minutes away. There was like beach chairs, you can order drinks and all that stuff on the beach, kind of like a resort. So we just stayed there and just swam in the ocean and all that stuff and just took it easy that time. So that was all we did in Katakolo. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up what we did at the locations at the cruise ports. And hopefully it kind of helps you build out your itinerary if you're planning to go on this same cruise. Especially with limited time, it's hard to choose what is good for the time that you're in there for. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video.